You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. As some of you may on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon, today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Kingsguard. So y'all, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. And anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm 10, you are up, and let's go. Alright. You scurried away from the fight and ran towards the ship. Every breath was ragged, your legs and arms were sore, your stomach still hurt, and you wanted to lay down and rest. Hurry! You glanced up. There stood a woman... Hurry! You glanced up. There stood a woman leaning along the railing of the ship, waving towards you. She was so high up it was difficult to even see her face, but you could tell that it was Marilyn. Your heart sunk in relief. She made it out in the front of the throne room okay. You waged that Esther was likely inside. The boarding plank was still further down the boardwalk, and with every step you took, it seemed to be moving further and further away. The day was growing hotter by the second, your heavy clothes only added to the heat. You moved even slower as your sweat-drenched clothes began to restrict your movement. Look out! You didn't take notice to the rapidly approaching footsteps pounding on the docks behind you. One moment you were scurrying to get onto the ship, and the next you were flying face down the boarding plank. A searing pain ran along your backside, and it felt as though your insides were leaking out. The warmth of the sun did little to keep the chill that began to creep along your body. The pain was unbearable, and you couldn't make a sound. Jake! Someone yelled your name, a familiar voice, but your mind couldn't put a name or face to it. Everything seemed to twist together, transforming into distorted shapes, while the colors bled together like abstract art. It was a struggle to keep your eyes open. You couldn't help but give into the darkness. You floated through a sea of nothingness. There was nothing to look at, nothing to do. You couldn't even see your arms or legs. You wondered if you even had arms or legs here. Or maybe you never had a body in the first place. Rustling leaves swirled around your feet, and thick, sinuous branches curved around you. Aside from the orchestra of crickets and frogs surrounding you, you were all alone. In front of you, a burned-out campfire offered no heat or light to this dark, cold night. The clouds dispersed, and the light of the moon illuminated a trail ahead of you. You got up and moved forward. In the distance, you caught the sounds of chatter. A soft orange glow lit the horizon. A town? As you walked on, you heard the roar of well-stoked fires, clattering metals, boisterous laughter, and various other guttural sounds. Oh, jeez. You reached the edge of the forest and peered in from behind the cover of some bushes. In front of you was a clearing filled with hundreds of tents. Beastmen in full suits of armor roamed about. A few kept watch, some sat and ate by small fires, others sharpened blades. Some sort of outpost? Wait, what am I doing near an outpost? Many flags of different designs dotted the camp, but you didn't recognize a single one. None of those are from any of the provinces in Yasan or Brahm from what I recall. Could it be Farharan? Farharan was always unstable when it came to leadership. Rulers rose and fell as quickly as the tides. Sometimes one would hold power of a particular region for no longer than a month before they would go to war with a nearby leader. The battle would only end once one side had admitted defeat or either was annihilated completely. From what you were told, it was usually the latter. It was a dangerous place, but with the internal turmoil of the land causing frequent shifts in political power, it also meant that the chances of the nation ever rallying together under one ruler would never come to pass. If they ever banded together with their superior numbers, then Yasan and even Brahm combined wouldn't have the power to stop them. A pair of glowing eyes looked your way, and he started to walk towards you. Shit. You quickly retreated back into the bushes and held your breath. The soldier stopped mere inches from you. You dared to look up and stared wide-eyed at the beastman standing right next to you. He looked down, not directly at you, and his armor shook and ruffled. The next thing you heard was the sound of running water pelting the ground. You sighed in relief. You looked down and saw a small stream worming its way towards you. You stifled a cry in disgust and moved your hands away slowly and quietly. As soon as he was done, he shuffled in his armor and went back to his post. You exhaled. Did he really not see me? Sure enough, the beastman had returned back to his post, his eyes scanning the outskirts of the camp. Taking off water time. Maybe he can't see that well in the dark. I guess I should count myself lucky. What am I doing spying around here anyway? It's like I'm begging to be caught. You turned back around and looked at the forest behind you. Even if you had a map, you likely would have had no idea where you were. For all you knew, this could have been the only civilization for miles, and living in the castle all your life didn't give you very many chances to practice survival skills in the wild. Not that you knew much aside from knowing how to start a fire, which you were terrible at anyway. Without any sort of weapon as well, who knew how long you would survive out here? Great. So I get the choice to wander the woods for days and likely die of starvation, or risk entering this camp and getting killed on the spot. I suppose there's a possibility I could talk my way out. You moved through the trees until you found a suitable spot where no one was looking and snuck into the camp. You listened carefully for the sounds of footsteps before proceeding forward. It was all going smoothly until you heard clattering armor coming in from all sides. You rushed into a tent behind you and waited for them to pass. Seriously, what am I doing? You covered your mouth. The ragged breaths of someone behind you sent shivers down your spine. Slowly you turned around and caught sight of a beastman snoring on the ground. He turned in his sleep, scratched at his side, then opened his eyes. You couldn't move. He looked around the tent, his eyes grazing by you several times. Damn rodents. He closed his eyes and his snoring resumed. Feeling returned to your legs and you backed up and out of the tent. I can't be that hard to miss, can I? Maybe they really can't see me. You wanted to try jumping in front of one of the beastmen and seeing what would happen. If they can see me, though, I'll likely be killed. I just need to find whoever's in charge and explain my situation. I mean, not every Farharon can be straw hut dwelling barbarian. I'm sure they can be reasoned with. Before you took a step anywhere else, you thought you caught a friendly sight of the corner of your eye. You tiptoed forward, turning around the corner and catching two beastmen heading towards a rather large tent. Leandros! You quickly covered your hand over your mouth once more. It looked like him, from behind at least, but you couldn't be 100% sure. Walking beside him was what appeared to be a tiger beastman, though with the interesting coloring of his fur you weren't completely certain. The two entered the tent and you scurried after them. Oh, hello there. You first peeked your head inside. The beastman, who looked like Leandros, stood over a wooden table. He stared down at it with interest as the tiger... Sorry, y'all, I just woke up. With interest as the tiger pointed and spoke in hushed tones. They were discussing plans, but for some reason you couldn't understand what they were saying. You became increasingly curious and bold as he excused yourself and went inside. As the lion turned his head, you caught his features in the light. It was then that you knew for certain that it was him. Leandros kept his attention focused on the table before him, even as you approached. Leandros! I have no idea where we are, but I'm so glad I found you. Where are we anyway? Some kind of outpost or camp? Leandros? Your guardian didn't turn once, not even his ears twitched at the sound of your voice. Right now. Hey? The lion looked up for a moment to talk with the tiger, then he went right back down to looking at the table. Leon? Can you hear me? You moved in even closer until you were at the table's edge, easily within sight of both the beastmen, but still they continued their conversation as though you weren't present. Stretched out on the table was a large map with small, detailed wood carvings spread out atop it. The tiger beastman took a carving of what looked like an ox head and moved it around the map, knocking over pieces as it zigzagged its way through. As you took a closer look at the map, you found it to be a more twisted version of Torvair. It would have been unrecognizable to you had it not been for the Corello forcing you to commit the real one to memory along with all the cities. Cities, towns, castles, territory lines, rivers, and lakes in Yusan and Brahm. There were lakes where cities were supposed to be, inlets where peninsulas should have existed, and even the scale of the nations was off. Hey, Leandros, why are you ignoring me? If this is a joke, it's not very funny. Where are we? Still nothing. You rounded the table and tapped on Leandros' shoulder. Seriously, Leandros, it's me! Their conversation was abruptly stopped and their attention was now on you. Uh-oh. What is that? A human. In my camp? The tiger's eyes became sharp and his eyebrows furrowed. As he spoke, you could feel the scorn and disgust roll off his tongue. Not once did you ever feel such contempt aimed towards you before, especially from someone you had just met. Jake? What are you doing here? How did you find this place? I don't know. I was wandering through the woods until I wound up here. I saw you and I followed. I tried calling out to you, but you've been ignoring me. Where is this place? Leave. Leave? Go back the way you came before it's too late. I'm not going anywhere until you explain what's going on. Is he your slave, Leon? The mysterious beastman stepped forward. His face returned back to a calm demeanor, but you could tell it was being forced. A strange feeling passed over you and you backed up a bit towards Leandros. Whoever this beastman was, you had an unsettling feeling about him. Still, calling you a slave was a bit irritating. Slave? Leandros is my guardian. He's protected me since I was a child. Though, might I ask, who are you? A lowly human has no right to speak out of turn. The tiger beastman lashed out. Spit flung from his mouth and he bared his fangs. His tail bristled and his eyes looked at you with such disgust you felt as though you really did do something wrong. It's okay, Wrath. We'll finish our conversation in a bit. Unacceptable! Who is this cur who disturbs us? Watch your tone. You're speaking to the current To the current king of Yasan, you may be my friend, but there are some things that even I can't overlook. The beastman named Wrath seemed to smile at that. Well, so we have the king in our midst. Excuse me for not being more hospitable. Let me give you the full tour of the camp. He reached behind his back and drew a rusty and well-used spear. With your head on a pike! Wrath, what the hell do you think you're doing, that blade? Put that down and stop this right now. The tiger looked taken aback, as though someone had just stabbed a blade into his heart. Are you defending him? You will not lay a hand on Jake. They are the enemy! How can you forget what they did to us? What they did to our home? That was years ago. Jake had absolutely nothing to do with that. Someone must take responsibility for it, and that person is Gaius. No, it is humanity. All of them must pay for the suffering we beastmen have had to endure. Oh, yay! We've got a genocidal maniac. Great. If you do not stand with me and move out of my way, then you stand against me. Leandros moved closer towards him and drew his own blade. So you are siding with the humans, then? They must have tamed you quite well. Your father was a leader and you decided to become a dog. I think you'll find I can be ferocious when I need to be. The large cats stared each other down. Neither moved a muscle, though you could tell they were tensing up, waiting for the right moment to strike. You were the only person in the world I could count on, I could place unwavering trust in. But I can't afford any liabilities, not when we've come so close. They inched closer, stopping when they saw the other one doing the same. Wrath's eyes broke away from Leandros and he stared at you. His smile grew wide. Die! Leandros pushed you back as he quickly drew his blade and blocked the attack from Wrath. Jake, run! Get out of here quickly! He won't escape, not until I've sunk my teeth so deep into that frail, tender neck. Never! You reached out to the blade at your side, but felt nothing there. You were forced to back up and give Leandros room. He was getting too close to you. They continued to strike at each other, matching blow for blow. Ah! No! You stared in disbelief as Wrath's sword jutted from Leandros' body. The lion's blood slowly started to pour from the wound as Wrath began to pull his blade back. Leandros shivered, his knees buckled, and he grew limp. His body slid free from the blade and your legs tightened. You cushioned his body from the fall and held him in your arms. He should have been heavy, but he was as light as a feather. Run. Please. The fire in his eyes was fading fast. You got the feeling that he wasn't even able to see you. Jake. Leon. Leon! You keep your eyes open. It's all your fault. Had you not been born, he would not have needed to die. You're the one that killed him. Humans, they all have to pay. You must pay for your transgressions. Your blood will be mixed with the mortar and hardened as a foundation for a new world. A dark aura swarmed in from outside the tent and wrapped around Wrath like a coat. His fur slowly died until it was a deep violet. His eyes became pitch-black pearls. He grunted heavily, almost as if in pain, and as his body began to change. What once were short claws turned into sharp 3-inch blades. A pair of horns emerged from the top of his head. By the time his transformation was done, you didn't recognize him anymore. He looked less like a beastman, more like a monster. His eyes hungrily stared at you. Black blood dribbled from his mouth and eyes. Leandros! Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!